Well, that works. That's the wrong microphone. Oh, because I have my cough buttons on. I'm a fucking idiot. Hello? Swear to God, one of these days we're going to start a stream and it's not going to be an absolute mess when I do it. Let's turn some lights on. I thought, oh, well, let's be spooky and keep the lights down. And then I'm like, nope, you know what? It just, the camera looks terrible. Everything looks awful. It's fine. We made it. We're here. Amazing. Brr. Hello. I'm Tommy Thompson. This is AI in Games, technically AI in Games Plus. We are going to stream some Condemned Criminal Origins tonight because somehow, despite doing this YouTube shenanigans for the best part of a decade, I have never played this game. And I almost still didn't manage to play this game. Because trying to get this game to run on a modern device is actually quite hard. Or at least it was proving to be a bit of a headache. So yes, Condemned Criminal Origins. This is, of course, a game developed and released by Monolith, little game developer you might have heard of, sadly shut down earlier this year, and of course famous for Fear. But it actually came out. So this is kind of the funny thing about this game, because I've still never. I'm now getting around to playing it. Right, that. This and Fear came out within weeks of each other. Like, literally weeks of each other, if I remember right. So hang on, Fear came out in October of 2005. I'm actually having to look this up now, just to double check. Yeah. The Xbox 360 version of this came out in November. So it's funny, because this actually came out first on 360, because it was an Xbox 360 launch title, and Fear, the PC version, came out the month before the 360 version of Condemned came out, but then the Xbox port of Fear came out a year later, and also, funnily enough, the Windows port of Condemned came out as well in 2006. So it's kind of interesting that these are two games that came out around the same time as each other, from the same studio. Critically, Fear was published by Sierra at the time, and Condemned was published by Sega. So it's kind of funny how we're just these two games developed by the same studio, coming out at the same time, different platforms and everything else, but it's got this kind of weird kind of overlap and everything else that's happened there, which is kind of wild. So yeah, I have never actually played this game, and so I thought, well, we put that out to the vote. What was it? I'm actually, now I'm going to quickly double check. What did we actually get you all to vote on? Because there was a bunch of different games, and Condemned won this, like, quite extreme. Let's have a quick look. It was in my posts, I guess. Yeah, so I suggested Condemned, Chronos: The New Dawn, which is the latest horror game by Bloober Team, A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead, which came out last year, and I still haven't got around to playing it. I thought I turned off the notifications, but evidently not. And the Silent Hill 2 remake. And I have played none of those games, and I thought, oh, this would be interesting to check out. But then when we actually got into the weeds of it, and I actually said, hey, you know what, let's put it to a vote. You voted, like I say, like from 30% of votes went to Silent Hill 2, 44% of votes went to Condemned. So I'm like, right, fine, Condemned. And I'm trying to remember, now that I think about it, did we do a horror stream? No, so last year I just played the Dead by Daylight Halloween event during spooky season, and also we started a stream of Evil Within, which technically I haven't finished. I got about 4 or 5 parts into my Evil Within playthrough and then never finished it, and that was kind of funny. Oh no, wait, no, so 2 years ago I did Amnesia: The Bunker, and we streamed that for about 2.5 hours, and that was good fun. And funnily enough, the next episode of AI in Games, the main series that we're doing, is on Amnesia: The Bunker, because I got to interview the devs and talk to them about it, which was really good fun. Oh, see people coming up in the chat. I love how the criminals would hide and wait for you. Not super hard to program, I imagine, but still neat. So yeah, I'm kind of intrigued because I know this game is kind of held in some high regard, and that people, it's quite dated, and in the sense that it's been around for 20 years. It's never really had much love since. It's never been remastered or anything else. But when I hear people talk about cool AI, people talk about Condemned quite a bit. So actually, while the streaming cockles are still warming up, let's just double check in on this. So I'm actually running it on Xbox. So there is a piece, I have a copy of it on Steam, but much like Fear, the game has not had a huge amount of love, and I wouldn't say it's been left in disrepair. I think it's more just the fact that ultimately it was made to run on platforms 20 years ago and not run on platforms now. And of course, things like your monitor, things like the resolution that it runs on, all these sorts of things are now subsequently affected by that. So also like getting a controller to work nicely on the PC version was also a headache. So I actually got the PC version of it up and running, but it wasn't great. And critically, when I was trying to capture it for streaming and everything else, and like if I wanted to alt tab out of the game to come back to this window to do some stuff, I was like, oh my god, this is such a pain in the ass. And then I remembered I had a copy of it on Xbox 360, which I must have bought, I'm pretty sure I bought this like eons ago. And I just never got round to playing it. So like, hang on, so yeah, I actually had a copy of it, backwards compatible on my Xbox, and I thought, you know what, that's the way we're going to play this, but at least I know this is going to work. It's maybe going to be a little bit rougher on the edges, but I can guarantee that it'll run, because it's on the backwards compatibility program, and all good. And I love that it has like this really, like when you backwards compat like this, right? Turn off the notifications. I don't want the notifications from my friends logging on. This is such a funny thing. I didn't realize this until just a moment ago when it did it. So if you on your Xbox, you can turn off the notifications. You go into your, I think it's in your settings or whatever. Yeah, you go into your console settings and it's under this bit, right? Fair enough. But because the backwards compatibility is running a separate layer of OS on top of the Xbox dash, it's actually I had to go into the Xbox 360 dashboard to change things. I also find it funny because it's like, it's got my old, like that's not my profile photo. That is not me at all. My profile photo when I was on Xbox 360 used to be Ryu from the Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Anyway, right, let's get set up. The audio is coming through the capture device, but it needs to go into my headset that I use when I play Xbox. I'm not working in a call center today, so we don't need this bit, but it's fine. We'll just play around with the audio. And it's coming through on the stream. That's all good. Right. And yeah. Oh, one last thing. Almost forgot. Need the Iron Brew. This stream is not brought to you in association with AG Bar, but it would bloody help if they just sent me some freebies every now and then. Oh, it's going to be a lot of sugar. I'm going to be fucking bouncing off the roof by the end of the night. Right. Okay, let's go. New game. Internal... Oh, that was fast. FBI. Also, yeah, shout out to Lion of Perth over on Twitch, who resubscribed for 33 months last week. Yeah, that was pretty awesome of him to do so. So let's get into it. This is a little extreme for the start of a stream, right? Like, it's like very intense, flashy lights and everything else. Oh, that's so funny because I tested this bit on.
I don't got all day here. Let's get a move on.
I tested this bit earlier on PC, and I could swear that this is actually a. This looks like it's a pre-rendered FMV rather than in-game, unless of course this is actually what the game looks like with this slightly muddier textures or whatever.
Follow me. Bodies this way.
Let's find out.
I'm getting too old for this.
Oh god. It's like treacle. Trying to move this guy around. Body's rotten. Push start to review your objectives. Follow the detective. Alright. That's easy. I can do that. I got you. Yes, of course. Let's have people murder other people up in the Ritz, you know. Let's see. Look at him being cautious, holding onto the handrail. What a good dude. Taking care of himself.
Your stupid car broke my light. Better turn yours on. I hear you're afraid of the dark.
Alright, no need for that. Seems a bit rude. Oh. Collect birds and metal pieces to unlock achievement awards. It's a rat of some sort, I think. Hang on. Annoying dickheads getting reported. Over on Twitch. So there we go. There we go, and then I'll just block them. Stupid crap. Fading my Twitch feed. There we go. Much better. Cool. Oh, look at that grain. Some good grain there. Giving it that very particular musty late 360, or like actually, well, this is early 360, but certainly that vibe of similar horror films, horror games rather.
Agent
What's up,
Thomas,
buddy?
This is Officer Becker. Becker found the body on patrol.
Hello, Becker. Oh no, this doesn't look good. Why? Well, this is very, 7. Oh dear.
Thomas.
Oh, look at that phone!
This is Lieutenant Rosa. I'm your lab tech again on this one. Our wireless data transfer system enables you to investigate and collect evidence at the scene of the crime.
What is going on?
When I have results, I'll contact you via your cell phone. All right.
What is this fandangled technology they're using?
Determining the cause of death. When your instincts tell you evidence is nearby, prepare a forensic tool. The system will select the correct tool for you, so don't worry about that. Use the UV light on the corpse and find the trauma point. It'll glow a bright purple.
Oh god, he's got no legs. I didn't even notice that at first. This was very unwieldy. Oh, hello.
Just a sec.
Okay.
By hand. Very forceful. Finger marks clear, except bruise intensity
Hey, Ajay.
indicates the killer's
Welcome
right
to the
hand
chat.
and missing the index finger on that hand. There must be something more. Something we're not seeing.
What is going on? Oh, right, it's the person on the other side of... It's a mannequin, right. I was like, why does he have no legs? It's a mannequin.
Run the laser light over the crime scene, and if there's evidence, it will show up a bright green.
Hey, Becca, get the lights. The agent's laser works better in the dark.
Nope.
Processing image.
Okay, so we are...
That's it. The same mark.
Exact same MO as the others?
It's the work of a guy we've been calling the matchmaker.
How is he getting video on his phone? In 2005, on that brick. This is the future.
Any luck on the mug book searches? I bet the killer has the same mark.
No luck so far.
No smoking at a crime scene. I don't smoke. Well, someone was.
Ooh.
It's coming from in here.
I am like stuck behind this dude. I can't go any faster.
Dang it. I can smell the cigarette smoke. He's right above us. Call for backup now.
This is Officer Becker. We need backup immediately. 4th and Start. Potential homicide suspect still in building.
Officers are on their way. ETA.
Oh, all right then.
Copy that.
Becker and I
Copy
will have the
that.
fire escape. You wait here for backup. Shit. Okay, now he's playing with us. Change of plans. Becca, secure that door. Thomas, check out the building and get these lights back on.
All clear, Agent.
Sooner we finish up
Okay.
here, the better. Let's go.
Like, all clear, agent, and then just walks away with his back to the door. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Oh, and for Christ's sake, be careful.
No, I was just gonna piss a boot for the next, like, 30 minutes. Okay, okay. Here we go.
Agent Thomas, Officer Becker. I don't know if they're on a new drug or...
Thomas, Dickinson, there's one coming your way. Addict amped up on something.
Oh, hello.
Federal agent, come out peacefully or I will use force.
Ah, I killed him.
Oh, yes. The city's full of them now, Thomas. Addicts, vagrants, psychotic individuals gone terribly bad. They come in all kinds, but mostly violent. Be careful.
Do I just... It doesn't really indicate how much resource I've got. Like, have I got infinite bullets? There's a health kit there. I don't need that yet. Are you dead now? Yeah, he's dead. Very dead. Ooh. Oh, press Y to check ammo. You are limited to ammo found and weapons used wisely. No, so we don't have the Robocop bullet upgrade. I'm getting a bit trigger happy after finishing Robocop last week. No. Oh, I can switch between my pistol and pistol whipping. That's kind of cool. Okay. So far, it is pretty quiet. How dare you? Literally as I say that. That was quite clever. Can I... All right. What did I miss? I can't open these. Also, I appear, unless there's a button I'm missing, you can't... Oh, there we go. You can't run. I see you. Look at you using cover. I regret not just shooting you. Now I need to find a med kit. There we go. Oh, I have to hold it to sprint. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Dude ran that way, so I'll run this way. Oh. Evil smoking man. Oh, he was here, all right. He left his cigarette butt on the floor. How rude. Uh-oh. Grab a pipe or 2x4 off the wall. That's cool. I like that. Get back here. Okay. So far. Oh, geez. They're coming out the woodwork. No. Down you go. And you. Whew. Ooh, large pipe. Big damage energy. So where did he come from? All right. Ooh. Are we just like doing the spooky bits out of... Hello, I see you in slow motion. Oh, you're not there. Are we just doing the spooky bits in Fear? Except they don't have creepy little girls in it. I suspect it is. Yay, I got a bird. We are cooking with gas now. It's like, yeah, what if we just put all the spooky bits in Fear again? And the combat's much slower. I mean, okay, fair enough. So, I mean, so far this is interesting enough. I'm waiting to see where this goes. But... Small pipe. Large pipe. Oh, there's stuff there. Fire axe required. Alright, so we need to find a fire axe.
Thomas! Thomas, answer me! What's happened? We heard an explosion.
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just a fuse box shorted. I seem to be trapped over here, and I believe the suspect has my gun.
What? How the hell did that happen?
It's a long story. Oh.
This fire axe and chop your way out. You can always find an entry somewhere around this past areas. You need to use things like an axe or a sledgehammer as a weapon. They do a great deal of damage, but they're slow. Sure, that's what you prefer.
Thanks.
Alright, yep.
You need the tips. Becker and I'll go around the other way. Try and stay in one.
I can't move from...
One more thing.
Oh, fuck's sake.
In a sticky situation, use your taser to temporarily stun your target.
I like how this is like a tutorial, but at the same time it also implies that like this dude is like so bad at his job, he's never had to do this. So don't forget to use your taser. And he's like, what? What? Here's Tommy. You've unlocked the Bronze Detective Badge achievement. Is that and a little Xbox 360 there? With a Condemned Criminal Origins skin on it. That's cute. Oh, I thought there'd be like resources or something. No, it's literally just I got to come in here and get an achievement. Fine. Use the axe to chop through door. Just chop through fire doors. Oh, you gotta line it up just right. Ooh. Oh, more than one of them, I think. Yeah, he's still hiding. No. Right, where'd the other guy go? Does the weapon decay over... No, movement over there. Does your weapon, like, decay over time? So it's like, yeah, that's the stats relative, but it's like if I keep using this axe, does it eventually, like, degrade and then I have to get a fresh axe? That's what I'm kind of curious about. Hint, knowing how to block is vital when facing tougher enemies. Oh, I wonder why it tells me that. Almost as if we're getting ready to face tougher enemies. Sorry, my cynicism creeping through a little bit there. You know the bit I'm actually having the most difficulty with? Look, the control scheme's generally fine. It's the... that was cool. It's literally the holding the button. I thought I heard someone there. It's literally holding down the stick. Holding down the stick to run is actually the bit that I'm having the most trouble with. Just because it's so interestingly, like, kind of dated in some regards. Can I steal his weapon off him? Oh, that's amazing. Fuck you, buddy. I suppose that might be. In fact, he cut the power with it. Lots of crime evidence going uncollected. I mean, the game is not giving me much of an option to collect said evidence. But you're right, Jack, there is lots of evidence here. One of these days we're going to stream like something happy and fun. But there's no crime evidence. I don't know what fun that would be, if I'm honest. I feel like all our streams have to have some sort of crime and evidence of the crime. Oh. Sledgehammer. Bah, bah. Here you coffin. Yep, goddamn bird. Knock, knock. You see, this is what this... If I had a sledgehammer, I should be able to just smash through walls now. I feel like that would be like the perfect, like, iteration on everything this game's doing. Oh, you're fucking coming. I hear you, you little shit. Oh, there you fucking are there. Nope. My house. Whose house? Ron's house. Oh. So it's kind of cool that they, like, actively try and hide. Like, look, he's moving away. Nope. Oh. Like, how often do you have... You know, it's Pac-Man-esque almost in that they're running away to get to a point that they can attack you later. Which is kind of cool. I like that. Like... No! He's got my gun. Look at those eyebrows. Agent Thomas. Ah! Ow. 3 of 6 birds found. Goddamn birds. 0 of 3 metal pieces found. I don't think... the question just came in there. Did Jeff Orkin work on this game? I think he's involved so much that they used a lot of the AI tech. If I remember, because this does use goal-oriented action planning. I have 100% hit rate with a gun. But yeah, I don't know what kind of involvement he had. I wonder if it'd be worth investigating at some point. Well, we'll see Jeff on Monday at the conference. I can always ask him. Actually, I need to drop Jeff an email and just check in on him prior to heading over. I hope all y'all who are coming to the conference that travel plans are going to go smoothly. Nope, he's having nightmares now, poor lad. Yeah, it definitely... I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because, after all, you know,
Hello, Ethan.
the big part of the work that Jeff did was he rebuilt all the AI tech in the LithTech engine. So this is also running on LithTech version 3. So I would imagine it's using the same nav tools and the same GOAT planner as they used in Fear. So I would imagine Jeff has got some sort
Why
of
are you here now?
even high-level involvement in the
I
project.
was nearby. An unfortunate scene. You did your best, but it could not be helped.
The detectives.
They're dead. Shot with your weapon.
Bum bum bum.
You will be blamed for their deaths.
Ridiculous. I'll just tell them.
What? Tell them the truth? They have already decided the truth.
This is insane. I can't just give up the Bureau.
It's already been taken from you. Now join me and help yourself.
Open up, it's the police.
Damn. Take your bag and head across to the metro station. I will meet you later.
Agent Thomas, you know you're in there. Open up now.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ethan, you must trust me. I am here to help. Now go.
The eyebrows are intense. There's a lot of intense faces going on in this game.
Sorry.
Hey, quickly. Can I? Nope, I thought maybe I could crank up the sensitivity on the stick. Oh. Just fucked over someone else with her power. Because I'm like, no! I want a pipe. Am I supposed to go this way? Shovel required. Use shovel. Losing a fair bit of real estate here. I can't see the right hand side of the screen. Bong. It's a small pipe. Like they should have, yeah, damage, speed, block, reach. How much of the screen is taken up with the fucking weapon? That should be like the other metric they use. Not creepy at all. Ooh. That guy
Receiving image data.
take photos of me in my house.
I'm still here.
Thank God. I thought they would have suspended my lab access.
They still might. It hasn't occurred to them yet.
I didn't kill those guys.
I know, Thomas. Well, I'm not certain what I do or don't know, but I'm pretty sure I still trust you. And that goes a long way.
Understood. So, what about the photos?
My trust goes a long way.
No standing on ceremony then. Huh. It's a picture of you, Thomas. In your apartment. I remember that hideous sofa from last year's Christmas party. It had to have been taken from across the alley.
From within the metro station?
It appears so. I'm also seeing smudges across the face of the photo. Locate a good sample and transmit it to me.
Find a good source of the liquid detected on the photos. So all the white arrows point inward. Yep.
Okay, analyzing chemical composition. The liquid is C41 color photo.
Lots of exposition.
Common among shutterbugs who develop their own color shots. Safer to develop your own. No record at the photo mats.
So wait, these photos were processed here, somewhere within the station.
That would be my guess.
Crowbar required. No. I'll have that. This game's got a thing for oh, I wonder if he can find me with the light off. Oh, he didn't. I see you. Down. Bad monkey. Oh, lots of... Was that just the... Lots of noises in this game, and you can't tell how many of these noises you make yourself, and then... Ooh. Nice. 3 bullets. Oh, what? You can only carry one gun at a time? Or one weapon at a time? I thought maybe... Alright, well... That's the... User's Guide. Telephone directory. That dates this game quite a bit. Phone books. Conduit. Health kit. Nothing along the lines of more ammo. Let's clear the downstairs and then we'll head up. Nope. Goddamn birds. Do 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 do. Funny how this is like the complete opposite pace of Fear. Fear's like, you know, fast movement and all this other stuff, and then like this game is literally plodding along quite slowly. I do think the idea of like ripping props to use as weapons is such a cool concept. Like, I can't think of many games that have done that. I'm actually struggling to think of any other game that did that. If only you were a robot, you could upgrade to dual wielding. That would be great.
Listen and be quiet.
I don't have long.
Police are now searching, or more properly destroying your apartment. They seem to have no faith in your innocence.
But I am innocent.
I know that.
I can't walk any further when I'm on the phone.
One more thing. You have a special talent, a gift that very few of us have. We haven't time to discuss this fully, but trust your instincts.
Chosen one!
I must go now. Remain alert.
You don't understand it, but I'm acutely aware of the special talents that you have. What special talents? Just trust in your instincts. You have the best instincts. Ha ha ha! That was amazing. Didn't think that would work. Down. He took a shot to the face. It's all the more impressive when you think about it. God, these guys really love creating levels where there's lots of nooks and crannies with... Well, there was a med kit in here. I was going to say there was like no reason to come into this room. 2 bullets. Make them count. Soda pop. Oh, no, now I've got K-pop Demon Hunters in my head. Sledgehammer. Can I get a drink? Ooh. No, but I could move a vending machine. I don't know what value that is in the grand scheme of things, but... Just checking whether those footsteps are mine. Yes, he's very hard-headed, that fella. Can I crouch? Doesn't appear to be the case. Coffee! Oh no, that's tomatoes. Oh, that texture work. Love it. I love that this is like a 360 launch title that also kinda looks like, you know, at the same time, it's oh, this is an Xbox 360 launch title, but equally this, you can tell they're still trying to figure out the overall like technical scope that they have to use the console. Because like if you look at a lot of the art, I feel like a lot of the art, the texturing work and everything else feels very Xbox, like PS2 era. I see you. think there's somebody else down here. Oh, hell yeah. Yes, the mobile phone does date the game, except it's blowing my mind because for some reason his phone is capable of doing video calls. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, that is just not representative of 2005. God, yeah, this game is 20 years old. Because like I said, it came out the month after Fear. Oh, he's got a gun. Oh, weird noises. Spooky stuff. One guy there, one guy that way. There's the sledgehammer. Where in the fuck did he go? Ah, that's neat. His ringtone could very well be Crazy Frog in this day and age. Sledgehammer! I do love these kind of like very dated things of like, yeah, this takes place in a very particular period, but at the same time, they always have slightly better versions of the technology that the average punter had. Okay. There we go. Oh, I knew you were here. Two of them. Where'd the other one go? Is he behind that? Boosh! Down. Stay down. I like the, it's just such a silly little thing, but I think it actually works really well in context. The coughing. The fact that he was round the corner and he coughed is just enough to give me a visual, to give me a tell. Oh god, it's a weapon? Creepy audio. No, the audio's, the music's completely... Oh, there we go. Saw a light. No, can't go that way. Crowbar.
Thomas speaking.
Ethan, it's Van Horn.
Oh yeah, so this
How do you
thing,
know this number anyway?
this phone also has speakerphone.
Since your father's death, I've watched you, hoping that you would find your potential.
My potential?
Your potential.
I'm an excellent investigator. Not through training or luck, but instinctually. I
However, you'll find that you are capable
You are
of
instinctually
so much more.
very good at your job.
Again with the instincts.
They're a gift from, well, perhaps not from God. Remember, they can help you and others. Again, I must go. Be careful.
So, I'll have a health kit. Why not? Small pipe. Crowbar. There was a safe back there. Pump action shotgun with 3 chuffing rounds in it. I am living large. Like a king. Head for the stinky stuff. Why'd you do that? Where are you going, you knob? I was gonna hit him with the butt, but then, nah, you know what? Let's just shoot him. It's faster. Oh crap. Oh, there we go. Goddamn birds. Yeah, this is kind of immersive sim coded, isn't it? It's kind of interesting. Is the stream looking alright elsewhere? Yeah, by and large. Coolio. It seemed to slow down or stop on another screen there. I just wanted to check in. Alright. Not what I meant to do, but okay. I keep forgetting it's RB is the flick to the butt of the gun. Did he completely kill the other guy? Yeah, he's very dead. Can hear him just around the corner. I can hear his footsteps. Oh, there's 2 of them. Well, that's not what I meant to do, but fine. I've noticed there's a weird delay between, like tasing someone and bringing the weapon up, and then getting the gun to go round to the butt. so I could just hit him with the butt of the gun. It seems like you got to bring the weapon up, and then once that animation's finished, then you flip the gun round, which isn't great. I'd much prefer if I could just like bring the gun to bear straight away. But no, you're right. The animations are pretty cool. The hell? I didn't close that door. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap.
Awaiting transfer.
In the balls. Okay. Where was I? Oh, great. Follow the creepy chemicals into the basement. Nothing could go wrong here, surely. This looks like such a fun place to be. Wouldn't say no to another med kit if it was lying around. Nope. Okay, so the he went in there. Power off for servicing C maintenance. Alright, so I'm assuming I need to get the power back on to open that door. That'll allow me to go in. Remember back when games had that cool elaborate animation usually, and they were uninterruptible, looks nice, but became more irritating the faster paces game. Yeah. Like, it's also one of the reasons I really don't like a lot of Rockstar's games, personally, because they always place an emphasis on their animation fidelity over my ability as a player to do what I want. And I've never, to be honest, it's such a and it's not a disrespect to the folks that make those games. I don't enjoy playing a lot of Rockstar's games because they're so priority driven. Animation is priority driven. Like, you cannot, as a player, conveniently interrupt the animations. You have to let them go through. And I'm like, ugh. I wonder if there's a fire axe nearby which will let me knock that door in. I'm trying to say this game reminds me of Fear visually, but YouTube is eating my messages. Well, so it is made by the same developer. I don't know if you were here at the start of the stream, but this is not only made by the same developer, but it came out in the same year. So it is very much Fear related in that respect. I was going to say, I've been waiting for that. I've noticed one of their animations when you knock them is they like flick, you know, it's like as they get knocked round, they then come back round and hit you. Well, there's a guy hiding behind that corner. Oh, right, I could like do something there. Yes. Actually, I've always been of the feeling that, like, I love a cool animation, but don't make your cool animation take priority over my ability to have a good time. And that's certainly how I feel about like Rockstar's games are always more, the emphasis is on ensuring the animation looks great, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I remember we did the Red Dead Redemption 2 episode years ago, and that drove me nuts, because how much of the time the game's like, you're going to spend a long time getting the fuck off of this horse, and I'm like, God, just let me off the horse. Oh, now you have a fire axe, when I fucking already got one. You wee dick. Finish him. Years. Tommy. Right, that's still the door I need to get through. We'll get there. Oh, hey, hello. That was the lever I needed. But there was a bunch of stuff over here. Let's go and explore. And it's funny thinking about the animation thing. Like, I actually often think about how the Batman Arkham games do it, or even like to an extent actually like the modern Spider-Man games do it as well, where it's like it looks great in the moment, but it feels better because when it comes down to it, I can interrupt it. Comment there, what was that? On a similar note, what about Resident Evil back in the day? A lot of that game had that kind of slowness, but I think the deliberate input you needed added to the experience. Yeah, I think there's also like a big difference between letting an animation play out and it serves the purpose of game. So I guess like Resident Evil's a good example of that, because Resident Evil, it's all about that tension between the world that you're in and the character and your ability to control the character. I mean, we talked about this back in, we made the Design Dive series where I went through all the Resident Evil games like years ago. Was it Revisiting Evil? And I talked about one of the most interesting parts of the first Resident Evil is all about that tension between what you have in your mind versus what you can do in the moment when you execute it. And critically, things like the orientation of the controls, you're aiming the gun, but you can't guarantee you're going to line up the shot. But like you say, also the slowness of it. And I think that's one of the... I think there's something fundamentally different about when Resident Evil moved first person, that now when those games do that, I find it annoying. Because I feel, and I think that actually comes down to the where you are, and if you as a player are now in the body of the character, I feel like the weight has to have context and make sense. So there's bits of this game right now I'm like, what is going on? Why? Birth. Goddamn birth. And then other times I'm like, eh. Like some of it is by virtue of the era in which the game was made, so I'm willing to give it that. But I always find, like, I think there's something really interesting about how to, oh Jesus, how to implement like weight in a game so it feels heavy, but that heaviness doesn't feel unnecessary or forced, you know what I mean? Like so it just get remade or remastered or whatever, and I've actually got a copy because they sent me a copy of it. But Gears of War does something. I love how heavy Gears of War feels when you play it. I think it's such a cool idea. And ooh, also I've noticed that the block requires a bit of effort. Alright, you. Fuck it, eh? Okay. Like, I love the weight in Gears of War. The characters always feel heavy in the world, and a part of that also just comes down to the fact that Gears of War is, you know, big heavy dudes all going round being really big and heavy, talking about war and how war's the worst, and like the politics. I actually have a real big soft spot for Gears of War as a franchise. I think it does some really clever things, not just in the fact that it's fun to play and the heaviness of the characters, the weight of the characters, but it is very political, and like in a way that's awkward, like really interestingly satisfying. Oh shit, he's good. Oh crap. Yep, let's not wait for that. Oh, so this, it seems like the you can use you can use a gun as a melee weapon, but you can't do it too much or it begins to damage the weapon, which is kind of cool. Look at that, look at how much weapon damage there is left. That guy had a shotgun, but I can't for the life of me see where he dropped it. That was great. I wasn't expecting to actually just like take that off the wall. He had a shotgun, but I can't fucking find it. Sledgehammer. Sorry, every time I see it. I need health. That guy messed me up good. I feel like sometimes it's actually funny that the conversation about clunky mechanics to enhance the experience. We played a lot of what was it, last year I was playing a lot of Evil Within. We were saying at the start of the stream I have not finished that playthrough. I find the control scheme in Evil Within very annoying. It's like, but then again I also think it's like playing old Resident Evils now, like old 3D Resident Evil, like playing the original like 4, I find is kind of infuriating to some degree. Oh right. Like 4 and 5 feel horribly dated to me now based on how they control. You know, so funnily enough, my favourite versions of 4 in particular are the Wii version and the VR version. This is not including the remake, of course. But in terms of revisiting that original, those are much more engaging games to play, I think. Oh, hey, look at that. We're chasing fluids again. Like a weirdo. Jesus. Whew, I actually got a spook there. Ah. Well done. Clip that shit. Is he coming back? No. That was mean. They did that on purpose, knowing I was going to try and do that. That is quite good. Oh no. Hey, look at that. Hang on, why do I need to take a photo of this? It's really obvious what he did.
Hold on.
I don't know whether he was lying on top of the shotgun jack, but I couldn't grab it either way.
Indications of a regular pattern incised on the surface. It looks like a heavy object was dragged across the floor.
Who'd have thunk? It looks like maybe he pushed it over, like this. Search rooms for evidence. Like, you just had some weird flashback thing where you knew that was exactly what he did. Instinct. Bam, bam, bam. He's been taking photos of me.
Got it.
Oof.
This print's better. It's a match to the one you found before, but I got nothing on file.
Well, we got a great
FBI and
fingerprint.
safety
I had
database
no
and
fucking clue who he
no
is.
record. I'll keep looking though.
Womp womp. Spare med kit there just in case. Yeah, I've noticed the block. You have to time the block. It doesn't just stay up. You gotta time it so it doesn't. He's a crazy person.
Processing image. Interesting. Initial scan indicates 18 newspaper clippings.
As a VR dev, I enjoyed and learned quite a bit from RE4 VR. I find it interesting how in VR today we're figuring out things as much as they used to, reimagining controls and how we can use them. Yeah, like, I mean, I enjoyed working with,
Markings in a black felt tip pen.
I did a bunch of work with Digital Load a couple of years ago. I consulted a little on Espire 2 for the Quest, and I quite enjoyed working on that because we were trying to figure out how to do certain aspects of like stealth for you know, a VR title, and like how do you do whoa, what the heck? That was weird. Hit him. Oh, this timing of the blocks is a little frustrating, but we're getting there. The clip was gold. Oh, he threw up. Track down suspect. Yeah, like, one of the things we were trying to figure out is like things that you would do in like kind of in your HUD. How do you like put that into the peripheral vision of a character, or foreground it in like in VR in a way that the player can see it? And even things that was funny, like how do we, like, one of the things we were trying to do was we had like a kind of detective vision style game, Espire Vision, I believe it was literally called in the game. And one of the things that we were trying to figure out with it is how do you, like, the Batman Arkham problem is people just walk around the entire game on with detective vision on, and that solves half the puzzles. So, well, how do we get around that? And one of the solutions we came up with was detective vision, or Espire vision, could only be activated if you brought your hand up to the side of the VR of the Quest and then triggered the button. And so it was like you were kind of doing it like that. You were kind of tapping in and tapping the side of the robot. But if you took your hand away, it disappeared. And I thought that was such a nice way to like give the player that faculty, but it removes your ability to use like your hands. And even things like healing yourself in that game, one of the things I loved is like you have a repair tool and you can like repair the body of because you're controlling a robot, the Espire unit. And I loved that. And it was like the whole, in order to, the repair tools, you actually had to like, you had to take your arm out. Hang on, get it in camera. You had to get your arm out, right? And you had to like flick your wrist back a certain way in order for like this object to come out the character's forearm. And then with this arm, you grabbed it and then like repaired parts of your body by looking down at it. And I thought this is such a cool way to give the player like even the ability to repair themselves and heal themselves, but you're forcing them the whole time. It's all about resource management, because the resource in this case is your literal arms. And so you can't, like, I remember doing it a couple of times where like I'd be shooting an enemy with this hand and I get shot, and I would actually like flick my arm back, get the repair tool out, and I'm repairing myself while still shooting with this hand. But eventually you run out of ammo, and then one of the buttons we had in the game was you could empty the clip. So then I'd empty the clip, and then like if you let go of the repair tool, it snaps back into the arm. So I'd like let go of the repair tool, grab a clip off the belt, and then put it in the gun. And I thought that game was really cool. It was a shame it didn't do that well, and subsequently the studio had to downsize as a result. Shout out to Mike Wentworth Bell, sorry. And also the team that I worked with there. It was a lot of fun to work on that game. I really wish I could have done more to help them, because I thought what they were doing was great. Also, funnily enough, we just did the Blood Typers episode on Artifacts recently, where I interviewed Alex Shedlock. Alex was the narrative designer on that game, and that's how we know each other. I'm just making sure he's dead. Definitely dead. See, I actually quite like when VR games are like making me think about how I interact with the world a little bit. So like God, I really need to finish it. I've played about 3/4 of it, and every time I go back, I play it for like an hour or so, and I have a great time, and then I never continue. Ooh. It's not weird at all. I've played a whole bunch of the Batman Arkham game in VR, and that is great. Like, I think that game is just doing so many cool things. Like, and it was in my Game of the Year list last year, because I just loved that so much of the game is about transposing the Batman Arkham gameplay into a VR setting, and they really worked on it, and it works. It's so much fun. Like playing the Predator sequences where you're doing the stealth and you're up in the gargoyles and you're like leaning down, and like the whole thing of, all right, I'm going to swoop down, so you have to literally put your arms out and like swoop down, and then like you grab the guy and like thump him into the ground and have to like punch him a couple of times to knock him out, and then quickly zip back up into another gargoyle and stuff. It's just great. It's just great. I was really taken aback by how good it was. Yeah, how did I appear with no weapon? That's not helpful. Small pep. I wonder if there was any overlap in art assets. No, probably not. Goddamn bird. I was going to say, I thought it was, I wonder, like, if there's any art assets got an overlap between Fear and this, but you wonder, I imagine, even from a publisher business deal perspective, that is not, because yeah, one of them was published by Sierra, the other one was published by Sega. Like, that seems like it might actually be a bit of an issue. I think streamers are quite important nowadays to get the word out, especially if you're an indie or a small studio. That's how I find most of the most interesting games. Yeah. Oh, there he is. Follow him. No, how dare you? Need a fire axe for that door. Oh, he's fighting off the crazies too. Yeah, like, I mean, I think actually VR games have it even harder in that regard, because it's, oh jeez. Give me the gun. Where'd the other guy go? I think particularly for VR games, it's also really hard. I mean, I quite like when every now and then, like, you know, I'm glad we did the Blood Typers video just earlier this month. I'm glad we finally did like Trepang 2 earlier this year. It's like I'm quite happy we've done a few more games, and last year we did things like Little Learning Machines. We did doing more and more games with smaller teams and smaller games and all this sort of stuff, which I love doing. And if you are an indie and you've done something really interesting and think it'd be worth bringing it our way, like, I mean, at minimum, I'll come and stream it, like, just get it eyeballs to my community. But even then, like, there might be stuff that's worth talking about in an episode of AI in Games, and whether it's AI in Games or it's artifacts or whatever it is. But yeah, I think particularly it's so important now for indie games to just get some penetration out there before the game comes out. And I think VR struggles with that because you've got to get people in the headset, and then there's not that many VR streamers out there, or there are VR content creators, but there's few and far between, I think, compared to like most other types of games. I do find the Arkham game to be quite great. There's a lot needs to be done to get people back in the headset though, and a lot of it's on meta. Right, I mean, a big problem is if you want people to play your game, if you want people to buy games for a platform, make games for the platform. And it's funny because I saw the conversation recently about Amazon and their failed game platform, and it's like, yeah, like, hey, look at that. Another classic example of like a big tech company going, we're going to invest in a games ecosystem, and then not understanding what you need. Although, to be fair, I'll give Amazon's credit. Amazon's issue wasn't that they didn't make games, it's actually they didn't support others to make games for them. Jesus. What are you grabbing? He was savage. Ooh. I see you. Where'd he go? But yeah, like, I thought, where was I going with that? Yeah, like, particularly with Meta, right? Meta's big problem is they own the Quest, but they won't help other people. They won't finance games to be made for the Quest. They won't, if you are going to be a company that owns a platform like that, you need to support other people to put games on your platform. What that looks like is going to vary from company to company, but at the end of the day, it's like, you need to give people a reason to put games. You know, I always think about even things like the Ouya, right? Even the Ouya managed to get some of that right, in the sense that they kind of encourage people and help people get games. Like Xbox, and you know, I know we've got a lot of things to say about the likes of Sony and particularly Microsoft and Xbox at the moment about the, let's face it, the ongoing decline of the Xbox brand, but like, they really invested in ID at Xbox. Oh, Jesus. To help indies get their games out on Xbox. Like, that was such an important thing. And, like, you get access to a lot of, what the fuck? A lot of cool resources. Like, you know, geez, where am I being shot from? Like, the fact that you get access to like dev kits for like next to no money. Like, actually, you know, I shipped a game on Xbox, and we paid no money for a dev kit. The dev kit was completely free. We got two dev kits for free. Like, that's, and actually now, like, that's a lot of money. Oh, so hang on. So I can't... Right, so that one's got 4 rounds in it. And that one has 1 round in it. I can't depump that round and anyway. But yeah, I think certainly... And it is, it's like, if you want people to really get into your game and into your platform and make them want to make games for your platform, and VR of all things really needs that because it's such a niche market. And you know, we talked about the Resident Evil remake. What the Resident Evil remake, they financed that. They financed the development of that VR port. It's like, right, you need to keep doing that. Every year, you need to be putting money into a variety of big and small budget projects for the Quest so that, you know, all it takes is for 1 or 2 of them to blow up in a really big way and you have a couple of bangers come out, you know, because let's face it, how you can't keep going, particularly in... Well, shit. He has an axe. I'll take his axe. Oh, I want to break free. And he's dead. Like, particularly with something like VR, because, like I say, you know, we live in an era when people go VR and they still think, all right, the one and only game on VR that's worth playing is, I got a desk drawer. Amazing. What the one and only game on VR worth playing is Beat Saber, which I don't believe that. I think if you have a Quest, you go and buy, you play Beat Saber, you play Resident Evil 4, you play the Batman Arkham. There's another game on Quest that I'm thinking of that I also quite like that is worth checking out, and it's going to bug me now until I remember it. But yeah, like, as a platform holder like that for a niche ecosystem, you need to be investing so much money into that space to get people... Alright. Shit, that was the... Where's the good one? There we go. Let's see. You saved that fella from getting pounded with the other guy jumping in from the side. That's true. I've neither heard of Trepang nor Espar outside of AI games. I think one occasion some... Yes, Scuppipup talked about Trepang in the Discord server. I think that's how it got to my attention. And then it was kind of funny because I reached out to the Espar guys. Oh no, sorry, the Trepang guys. Like, hey, you fancy? Would you be interested in doing something with us and blah blah blah? And they knew the channel, and so that was kind of neat. It was, but yeah, it's kind of wild. I was part of the last batch that was going to get funding before they closed it off. The Oculus rep I spoke to really wanted it out, but alas, Meta cut the budget right before we... I know one other game that had a very similar situation, funnily enough. Pico sent its sets by just asking. They're fully supporting us whenever we want. Right, look, you want games on the platform, you pay to have games on the platform. Like, you know, like I said, I have issues with how Amazon have dealt with things. I have issues with how Epic have dealt with things. But the one thing that both of them have done very well is that they have put their money in their pocket. And I think Amazon's biggest problem actually was that they put money in their pocket to build their own games, and they didn't work with indies to support them to put their games on Amazon. And it's funny, like the hell? Seeing that story break out this week about... Oh, there's Scup, you know, speak his name and he will appear. Oh crap, I hit somebody right behind me. Down! Let them fight it out amongst themselves for a minute. I see you and your big sign. Twofer. Trepang is indeed quite dope. Yeah, I think that, like, it's so funny, like, you see in the whole thing about Amazon, they're like, oh, well, you know, we really invested in trying to be a Steam killer, and I'm like, I don't think you ever really did. And there's been a couple of good points been made by others. Chet Falachik said something. I saw a video from him on TikTok this morning about, and that was the thing he said, was they didn't help support indies going to that platform. And I think Microsoft really stepped up at a time when Sony dropped the ball. Like, you think about that PS4 era, that early PS4 era, Sony really stepped up to support indie devs, and that's also one of the big reasons the PlayStation 4 was such a huge success, because the indies moved to it. And that, I think, was kind of catching a headwind on like where things were going in the sector, and recognizing like people will buy your game, people will come to your platform for indie games. Climb aboard before he gets away, because I don't think I was supposed to get on the train, was I? I think Sony were early in recognizing that, hey, one of the great ways to sustain our ecosystem in between like big releases like The Last of Us and Uncharted, and I think also at a time when they were moving from Killzone, like from PlayStation 3 to 4, and things like Killzone weren't really landing anymore, and Resistance was a dying IP, and it's like, alright, well, we need to fill up this ecosystem with more games to get people to play it. And then the solution was, hey, let's support indies to come in and start getting their games on our platform earlier. And then Xbox were a bit late in getting on board with that, but I think the idea Xbox, like we never had, like, fun enough, like I say, sure, Pudding made it to Xbox. We tried chatting with PlayStation, we got nowhere with them. Like Nintendo actually were really good as well, but that was also years afterwards, because Nintendo at that point had the Switch coming out, and I think Nintendo looked at what had happened with PlayStation and went, get indies on the platform. That is, and also they saw what happened with the Wii U being a bit of a failure in many regards. Oh, hello. Oh dear. Oh no. Ah, it's Mr. Eyebrows. Right, I can't look up. Why did I get right up into it? That makes... Ah well, never mind. Hang on, oh wow. I have 110% firearm hit rate. That's because I got that 2-for-1 with the shotgun. Favorite weapon, pump shotgun. I will take that. So yeah, I think we need to see more of that effort to, and it's kind of frustrating because it speaks to where we are right now as an ecosystem, that I don't think enough is being done to support indie devs, because everybody got spooked the last couple of years by the investment, and then it's like, you know, if you don't support the indies, you won't have product, which is becoming all the more apparent now when you see like Microsoft and Sony are shutting down studios left and right. All these AAA projects they had in development not making it to market. But this year has been a good year for indie games in that regard, and I've probably played more indie games this year than I've paid big budget AAA. Yeah, that looks dangerous. Let's not go that way. Oh, jeez. Free shotgun. Okay. Yeah, why, are you watching me on both platforms to try and boost my numbers? I appreciate it, Aji, but I remember PS3 started to introduce indie studios with the help of their online store. I believe Sony opened up their eyes for that revenue source and realized that the PS3 cell architecture was too hard to use for indies. You know, it doesn't surprise me in some regard that we've moved increasingly more and more towards like x86 style architectures on consoles to make them more PC-like, because it makes it easier for smaller developers who do not have dedicated like platform engineers to make their, you know, I'm speaking from my own experience here as well, right? Like, it was hard, it's enough work porting a game to different platforms so it works the way it should. Oh, right in his head. Oh, hey, a full shotgun. It's quite difficult to get funds as a small studio that's trying to go medium. The public funds can cover small studios, but growing requires funds, but investors go to safe. Yeah, like, I mean, I've worked with studios where we were trying to figure that out, and it was like, we can get enough money, you know, we can get little pots of funding so that we can support a development project that's maybe couple of £100,000 or something like that. You get some government grants, you get a few other bits and pieces, and that's about as far as you get. But it's like, right, well, I want to go a bit bigger, right? Suddenly my budget for this project is a couple of million. I need a team. And it's just, you know, it's even funny, like, sometimes when you talk to publishers where they go, sometimes your small budget isn't big enough and your big budget is too small, right? I remember so, you know, Trash Goblin finally made it to market. I think it came out early access earlier this year, but I remember working with those guys, and I did the London finance market. I pitched our game to like 30 publishers or something in 2 days, and the funny thing was, it was a small project that we were told wasn't big enough in some regards. But then I'm chatting with friends who they were trying to get, you know, they're looking to get funding for a project that's maybe 15 to 20 million. And that was too much. It was like, oh, or actually it wasn't enough. It was like, oh yeah, like that's cool and all, but if you were talking 50 to 100 million, we could chat, but you only want like 10 million. The hell? But then, like, if you're a really small team and you're like, how much are you needing? Oh, like 250,000 people, and they go, oh, right, okay, well, if you needed 1 million, maybe. Like, what are you talking about? It's such a bizarre. Where the fuck is he going? Ooh, ladder. Kid. Fall. And even then, like, it's a shame things are so precarious. I never got a chance to properly chat with him, but I mean, I was over in Ireland just a few weeks ago, and you know, it was right after, and I was at Nexus, and Brenda Romero was there talking about, you know, Romero Studios have went through a shit time of it, and that's because Xbox pulled the plug on their funding. Well, Xbox didn't pull the plug. Microsoft pulled the plug on a pot of money that they had, and that was a pot of money that was going to finance that project. It's basically not worth their multiplier for the risk. It's odd, but that is the case when most of the money goes outside game studios and goes into the hand of big investors, VPs, yep. Resources, and yeah, like, it's so frustrating, because you do think, the amount of times I've had this conversation with people in the sector, and we're like, you know, see if we just had enough cash that somebody could just incubate a whole bunch of little games. Like, we make X amount of millions, we get X amount of millions in investment, and you pump it all into looking after maybe a handful of wee games. Excuse me. And that's it, you know? Like, we get X numbers of millions, that funds like a bunch of indie devs who only need like 100k, and you give them support and everything else. Like, you take 5 million and you could maybe take 5 million and you might be able to turn it into 20. And it needs somebody willing to take that gamble and throw that money behind it. It's just such a frustrating thing, because I talk to so many people who are in the space and they're like, yeah, that would be amazing if someone actually did that. Okay. Lights tell me this way is good. And yes, I think critically, Varun, as you're saying there, like, public funding goes a long way as well. I mean, I think the UK continues to invest more and more. I think we need to be doing a better job of it. I think the access to funding in the UK is a little frustrating, and it's a little onerous, and but also it's quite difficult. And then like, but you know, again, I was in when I was in Dublin, they were talking about how the Irish industry needs more support for this sort of thing, because I mean, of course, the Irish industry is still a lot smaller, so they're still, you know, trying to figure a lot of this out. But yeah, the conversation was coming up of like, hey, we need to be doing better to provide. How am I going the other way?
Give me a sec. I can't get a
There isn't an awful lot, but even then, like you say about us being in the EU, there's still not an awful lot of EU funds that I found. I speak to a lot of devs looking at, in the UK at least. You know, they were more likely to focus on the UK funds that existed, because we had nice little pots, like whether it was coming from Innovate UK, whether it was things like the UK Games Fund. But yeah, it was interesting chatting with the Irish folk about like how they've already got like a little bit of a startup fund, and they're trying to invest more in that. And it's like, you need to invest more in this, because it will bring more for you in the long run. Oh, he looks... What is up with people in this game? He... Oh crap. Does not strike me as someone I want to be fucking with. I wasn't expecting them to make their way in. How did you get in? Ah, you came in that way. Right, that big dude is still out there. I have 4 shells. I need to go through him. Well, taser to the balls will do it. I need the sledgehammer. That dude was carrying. Yeah, Baron, you make a good point. I think there's generally I think this is a lot of the issue with a lot of this funding, is it is difficult you invest, and I speak to this also as a former researcher, right? Like applying for funds, and I used to apply for EU funding. And it is so much paperwork and like writing out those grants and everything else. Like I got to a point in my career where I stopped applying for research funding because it was actually going to take me less time and resource to actually just do the research and get it published. And then when the department goes, oh, but you never got any research funding for this. And I'm like, yeah, but, aim and focus the camera. Oh, right, that's what I need to do. But it was easier for me to just get on with the research than it was to spend 9 months writing up a bid that then got rejected.
This is his rat hole, all right.
But that was it. My boss was always like, oh, you know, you're applying for your funding. You need to be seen to be applying for funding. And it's such a... And it is, you're stuck between these two things of... And personally, for me, I didn't give a shit because I worked at a university in the UK where I had a salary. So I'm like, am I going to get sacked? No. So I'm just going to focus on doing my research, and occasionally I would write the odd bid. I managed to run a couple of small pots of money. I never managed to get any major big pots of money, which was always, I always thought that is a bit of a failure on my part, but hey, it is what it is. That door didn't open, did it? No. Excuse me. Nope, whoops. Objective, track down suspect last seen entering lower. Kick out wall fan and climb through. Sorry, right, I missed that task. Stop! You, in the name of the law. Except I don't have any authority anymore. Oh, he went in there. Fire axe required. No, I just noticed. Jeff Orkin was commenting on an article I wrote. Or was sharing an article I wrote. Over on LinkedIn. So that was interesting. Yes, this week's AI in Games newsletter was a meaty topic. And if you're not familiar, I have been... So if you watch the YouTube, you'll know, like last year I was celebrating 10 years of the YouTube, and I wrote a bunch of stuff, kind of just like, I wrote like a couple of videos like, hey, let's just celebrate that we've been doing this for 10 years and what are the things I've learned. And I did a video where I shared my story on like all these little stories about how we made videos and how some of these things came about, and because there are like some very interesting little stories about the experiences I had. I don't like that I'm leaving a shotgun there. Can I like nudge it forward? No, that's not how this works at all. Shit, fine. But
Thomas speaking.
so yeah, what I was talking about was I'd been wanting to do one last video last year. And by the way, this newsletter issue, it is the first of a series. It is going to be, I think, 3 parts long. When it's done, it will become a video. I'm going to do a full version where I talk through this, and we'll post it on YouTube as well. But I always had the ambition to do one more video, which was, so we did AI in games, like the 10 years of AI in games, and looking back 10 years in the past, and the stories of those 10 years. And I wanted to do one last video, which was, let's look 10 years into the future, and where are we going? And, motherfucker.
At least, I think so. Something's still not adding up.
So I had this ambition to write this 10 years in the future. Every time I wrote it, it just felt really either one of two things happened. Either it felt really naive, or I just didn't like what I was writing. I felt sometimes I was writing something that felt more like wishful thinking than anything else. Like, oh, hey, think about all these sunny uplands that were going to exist. And in particular, I kept writing it like as I see headline after headline after headline about studio, like this is a studio's take on generative AI, or like, you know, bad case of capitalism because of generative AI, and I'm like, but also like kind of the general sentiment around game AI as a whole was something that was eating at me. And originally, so it's funny because I mentioned in the article that I oh yeah, 2 rounds. That it was coming back from GDC. I had this particular thought that then, like, was the kind of framed the whole thing of game AI's existential crisis. But the funny part of it was I actually tried to I thought, I'm going to talk about how we address all this and how we need, you know, I was going to do a piece while I was at GDC and kind of celebrate the state of our sector and everything. Well, thank you very much. Cup of tea. While I was at GDC. To the point that I actually took my camera, I recorded a bunch of stuff, and some of that sentiment is still in there, but like it had a different tone, that had a different direction. Bear with me, I'm gonna get my cup of tea. Because, you know, I'm an old man who enjoys a cup of decaf tea at 9 o'clock at night. Oh, it's quite hot. Anyway, so and I was writing it, and I'm like, nah, what the fuck? And again, it was the same thing of, I don't buy this. I'm not convincing myself that what I'm saying is on point, never mind potentially convincing anyone else. And that was when I was on the flight home, and genuinely the thought came into my head of game AI faces an existential crisis, and I don't know if we're going to do anything. I don't know what we're going to do about it. And that's when I realized that this nagging feeling I've had in the back of my head for the last like year had a focus, right? And then I was going to talk about it. And so I've been thinking I wanted to start writing something, and originally I was going to write it as a single piece before the conference and publish it the week of the conference. And then I started writing it a few weeks ago, so that issue this week is the longest issue of the AI Games newsletter I've ever written. It's about 10,000 words, and it is part 1. Like, I just had so much in my head that needed to come out, and I'm not 100% happy with it, but like I was able to certainly coalesce a lot of thoughts I had into something that was at least cohesive enough that certainly I've had a few people reach out and message me and went, that was really interesting, or they enjoyed it, and it's like I want it to turn into a conversation. I don't even want people to agree with me. I just, let's have a conversation about this. Because I feel like there is so many things happening that we are not talking about, and we really need to talk about them. Right, so I need to go back up yet. Search lower train tunnels for information linked to suspect. Oh. But I am in the lower train tunnels, no? Excuse me. So yeah, this one was mostly about how the sector currently operates and how we. The long and short of it is if you think about, if you've been watching my work for a long time, I very rarely talk about new technological innovations in the context of game AI, and I think that is incredibly dangerous, that somehow we are the one part of the games industry that is not really. This isn't to say we don't innovate, but rather we have not experienced large-scale, significant change in how we work. If you look at all these other, whether it's an engine programming, whether it's network programming, you think about animation, you think about rendering, there's so many things that we do that haven't really changed in how we do them. And, well, in game AI at least, but in all these other disciplines we have. All these other disciplines like, you know, kinematic-based, you know, root-based, like, kinematic-based animations, you look at things like how network programming has changed, you look at kind of entity-based component systems, you even look at how AI is being used across the sector. I talk a lot about, you know, how machine learning is now used in lots of game production, and it's like, that's awesome, that's really interesting. We've also got a really cool, we have a interview with Ubisoft actually in a couple of weeks' time for an episode that will come out early next year about how they're using, actually you'll know this one, it's Snowcap, how they're using machine learning for like GPU estimation when they're in production, and I'm like, that's such a cool thing. Ow. But yeah, but game AI is still the same. Like, we're still using behavior trees, state machines, planners, and don't get me wrong, these things are great, but it's like sort of, we need to start thinking about how you get to the next phase of that, and that's an iterative process, and how do we make that a reality, I think is a challenge. But I think the ecosystem of games as it stands seldom permits that conversation on how we move forward to actually occur. So that's kind of what part one is about. Part two is about basically how education is. There's a certain type of education required for game AI to survive, and I think that is now becoming a rarity, and it's a reflection of academic education, it's about access to information, it's about resources and who's delivering them. The long and short of this particular second piece is sort of, for lack of a better description, it's kind of messed up that, like, on one hand, I think it's awesome that my work on AI in games, and then subsequently the fact that we've got Goal State coming up, we've got the conference. It's great that we've been able to build a little ecosystem where we're supporting the community. But also, by that same token, it's kind of messed up that endeavors such as mine become so important. Like, I believe there's a line currently in the draft that's like, if the games industry did its job, AI in games would never have succeeded. And then I think the third part is about communities, and that's a much more broader discussion about the current state of, like, the world and how important it is for communities to survive, and what do we need to be doing. And so they're critically, this whole piece will end with my recommendations on these are the things we should be doing, and these are the things that, first and foremost, a lot of the things that I am suggesting, AI in games either already does it, or we do it through Game AI Events CIC, which runs the conference, or these are aspirations of things I want to do. And I need to start thinking about how to get it financed. I need to start thinking about who do I talk to make this happen. But also I want to have that conversation with everyone else and go, right, we can do this together if we work together. Oh, bloody hell. Oh yeah, he just kicked him and ran away. That was pretty awesome. Was he planning to kick me? Where are you going? Oh, they are fighting with each other. Right, he's going over there. Don't like that I'm backed in a corner. Where'd the other one go? Oh, jeez, did he just... Yeah, they seem to do this thing where they dance around me and then eventually they just go, fuck it, and then they charge me. Oh, he's right fucking there, he's behind that wall. Let me grab his... That's twice now where I've tried to grab it and it fails. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, Varen, you say there, like, AI for games is such an internal thing, it's quite difficult to convince people higher up to even finance things that are more complex that we already have. It's a bit too abstract. Like, this is the thing, and it's like, game AI doesn't just work out the box. It's never just worked out the box. It's a huge amount of work to get it to work, and I think a lot of the time, and the fact that it's good enough, and it has been good enough for so long, I think is one of the reasons it never gets any love when it really deserves more. Crap. Oh, he's nearly dead. Oofed. Oh, thank goodness. Made it. I'll have that sledgehammer, thank you. Because the enemies are seemingly drugged and irrational, the AI seems to work well narratively, even when it seems to be doing weird, buggy things. There's some... I quite like this whole thing that they, like, run away, and that they try and hide, and they try and sneak around me and stuff. There's something kind of intriguing about that, I think. It's not often you see a game where an NPC's... part of an NPC's behavior is, I'm going to avoid you. Happy spooky day indeed, Kane. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, let's go. You know, clunkiness of this game aside, I'm quite enjoying this. It feels very dated in some regards, but it's like there's some really cool ideas in this. It would actually make for a great VR game, I think. What is it with birds, man? Goddamn birds. Just finished dev streaming, put a damage system into my fledgling turn-based battle engine. Sounds cool. Oh, I'll need to check that out. Sometime I didn't know you do dev streaming. Need to check that out. Indeed. I think I would have loved this game if I played it when it came out. I mean, to be fair, this backwards compatible version is actually holding up pretty well. It's a shame, like the PC version, like I said at the start of the stream, I tried to get the PC version to work and it was just a bit too much of a ball ache. But I imagine a lot of the little things that are bugging me about it, you know, no amount of modding. Visually it looks fine and it generally plays okay. I think the controls are a little clunky, but it's also part of its charm, I guess. Yeah, well, the game's 20 years old, which... And to their credit, I mean, once again, I remember hearing a lot of stories about this the whole backwards compatibility thing that Xbox did years ago. In fact, one of my old students, Karn, shout out to Karn Bianco, he worked at Rare for a couple of years, and one of the projects he worked on at Rare was Rare Replay, and that was one of the first times where they started trying to figure all this out. Like, how do you get backwards compatible Xbox games? Oh shit. And a lot of it even came down to, like, they were figuring out how to, like, it's like, how do you get achievements to work in a backwards compatible game? And some of it was literally coming, or like, when they put achievements into games that were in Rare Replay. That was the point I was trying to make. Like, this was some of the first time they were doing any backwards compatibility and figuring out how to run these games on contemporary Xbox hardware. And one of the things he did was he worked on the achievements for the games that are appearing in Rare Replay. And he said, like, in order to make that work, they were literally, like, debugging assembler lines to find points where, like, bits were being pushed around to allow for certain variables to hit certain values, at which point that's when they could determine. And they were having to reverse engineer what the variables were, because some of them, they didn't have source code that they could access, so they're literally like emulating old copies of their games. Which, oh crap. And so yeah, that was how they were getting achievements into some of the old games, because they didn't have the source, but they were like, right, we're going to emulate it through this, and then we're going to debug the actual, or like, actually I think it was like they only had the assembler or something like that. It was such a wild thing that they were doing. It was such a kind of cool idea. I always had a lot of respect for, like, then subsequently Xbox was like, maybe we should start investing more into this and figure out how to get backwards compatibility to fully run. Because it's like full emulation that they're doing. It's not like there is a copy of the Xbox 360 running. It's not hardware emulation like the original PS3 SKUs. I was speaking a bit with some people from GOG. They have plenty of cool stories about how hard they have to work to archaeologize the shizzle out of games to make them funk. That, I think, is, you know, I think it would be really cool to hear more about. Like, I think even, you know, from a development perspective, like, what does it take to get an old game like that running on contemporary hardware? Like, what are the things you have to think about? And, you know, even just, like, it's funny, because even as an engineer myself, like, it's kind of an alien concept to me. I'm like, right, how do you go about doing that? Because it's just not something I've ever had much experience with. But, oh, Jesus. Shotgun! Almost full shotgun! Alright, mate. Oh, hey, you got a gun. Oh, geez, he's got a gun. Oh, I'm gonna let them fight it out for a minute. Stick your head out, come on. Oh, jeez. Damn it. There was somebody dropped a pistol here. Sledgehammer. There was a pistol. Is he? Yeah, he ran out of ammo in that one. Oh, there was the 40. I was like, where's the? His body's on the 45 cal. There we go. How many rounds in it? 4. Right. That'll do. That's it, you guys do some of the heavy work for me, the heavy lifting.
Image received.
What else is everyone playing at the moment? I've got a bunch of games in various states of play right now. Some of them are for streaming, some of them are for YouTube, some of them are just for...
Yeah, I haven't seen one of these number 8 cars in years.
just for giggles. I said actually on Blue Sky I was talking about it. I'm playing both, was it, Absolem and Shinobi Arts of Vengeance right now. Playing both of them on Steam. Actually playing a lot of that on Steam Deck. And I was a huge fan of Streets of Rage 4, which was Dotemu, Lizard Cube, and Guardbreak games. And so Absolem is Dotemu and Guardbreak, and Shinobi is Lizard Cube. And it's so great to see two games made by some of the studios who made one of my favorite games in recent years, and it's just kind of cool to see like the DNA of Streets of Rage 4 appear in these two other games, and both of them just are so good. Like, they're really slick to play, they're very crunchy, they have really visually they're quite stunning. Like, everything about them, I'm just like, oh, yum yum yum. Like, both potential game of the year for me. And like, both of them are kind of interesting because Absolem is, what if Golden Axe was a roguelike? And meanwhile, Shinobi is, what if you kind of made Shinobi games, like you'd make a Shinobi game that's almost a Metroidvania, where every level of the game is its own kind of mini Metroidvania, and it makes you go back and revisit levels once you've unlocked new abilities to go and find stuff and everything. Super cool, it's really clever. I don't know what evidence I'm fucking looking for here. What is the evidence? Can't I just pick up a crowbar and leave? Ugh. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so check it out. So the cool thing about Absolem is you start with one character and you'll try and get as far as you can, and the idea is that every time you replay it, things like new paths begin to, you begin to realize the whole the layout of the game is non-linear. So the actual game world is non-linear. You can take different paths, branching paths to take to different places, but then over time you begin to find secret locations, like secret paths that exist, but there's like missions where it's like, oh hey, figure out what this does, and so you maybe go and solve a problem on this run, which then allows you to, you maybe unlock something for a future run. Oh god, I was going to say, I just heard him there right as he appeared in my peripheral vision. Right, come here, you big bugger. Ow. Get back here. And then over time you begin to unlock new characters, and then there's like a gradual progression, so you unlock new abilities for your characters. It also does this kind of Hades thing where every sequence of the game you go through, you then unlock a power which enhances some of your existing weapons, and then over time, the more runs you do, you unlock permanent upgrades that will improve some of the bonuses that you can apply to yourself, but also some of the moves that you can apply, and also just your overall base stats in so many different aspects of your development. So you gradually become stronger the longer you play the game. I haven't actually won a round of it yet, like a full run, but it's everything about it. I'm just like, oh, this is great. Like it's a great game to just pick up and play for a 30-minute run, and every time I'm like, that was fun. Like every run feels like it had value. So yeah, Absolem does that, and then Shinobi is just, we'll do a modern Shinobi game, but with this kind of slight Metroidvania aspect to it, and a lot of upgrades and everything else. And it's, the combat in that game is also really good. And yeah, both of those games are just sending me. I'm loving both of them. Also the art, like the art in Absolem's really nice, but it's the art team that did Streets of Rage 4 that are doing Shinobi, and they are cooking with gas. Like the art style in it is really, like, it looks great in HDR. It's like, it's really vibrant, it's really colorful, but it's also really crisp. But also they play an awful lot with like bloom and other visual effects to kind of add this sometimes ethereal quality to some of the stuff they're doing, and it just looks stunning. Stealing compartment? No? This one? How do I get to the... There must be a way to get up there. Is that... No? Yeah, the visuals in Shinobi just looks really, really good. So yeah, the other two games that are really taking up a lot of my time, when I've got 30 minutes to spare or whatever else. In between, I'm still recording a bunch of footage right now to capture for Amnesia, for our Amnesia episode, and how did I... Oh.
Transfer data when ready.
Alright. Which reminds me, so I've actually got a little design dive episode I probably want to do next month, once the dust is settled, because I played Ninja Gaiden Ragebound a couple of months ago on Switch, and that was great as well. Like, another, like, hey, let's do a small indie version, like an indie team to use an existing license and do something cool with it. And I'm not a huge Ninja Gaiden fan, but Ragebound was great. I loved it. And I think it's the difference between that and Shinobi is they're both kind of similar in many respects, but it's much more old school in its sensibilities, and even like its art style is kind of like 16-bit. But I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed Ragebound.
Thomas, Route 16 to
Thomas?
Side. That train will take you directly to the department store.
If I hurry, I'll just make it.
Make your way back to the platform. Oh no. I need to go up that way. Also started playing. I'm trying to clear through a little backlog of games that I had, and like one of them was South of Midnight, and I just started that, and that's been pretty neat so far. Quite like that. Right. Arc Raiders is top on. Arc Raiders is one of those games I keep meaning to check out, and I've just not had the time. I think maybe see if get the lads to play it with me, because my friends all jumped on Battlefield 6 together, which, to be fair, we're all having a really good time with. Issues with Electronic Arts aside, well, maybe somebody's. Well, that guy's got the juice. Let them fight. Maybe, I mean, actually, we did try and reach out to Embark a couple of months ago to talk to us for a video about what they were doing with the ML animation, but I never did hear from them. That is, like... Oh, geez, I didn't see him there. Yeah, so like, a lot of, Embark Studios is basically former DICE people who I think got burned out by EA and Battlefield. That said, I think Battlefield 6's campaign is much of a muchness, but the actual, the multiplayer in that game is really good, and we played a few rounds of RedSec, which is the Battle Royale. Just last night, actually, we played like 2 or 3 rounds, and we were having a really good time. All right. Oh, I was so close with the birds. Oh, I've only got 92.5% accuracy with my shots this time after my 110% in the previous chapter. There we go. Sorry, just checking my messages. Oh, and I also, bear with me, because sometimes these are actual like work things I'm getting messaged about, because conference is but days away. Oh, I've just seen Happy Pie posted the clip. I'm curious what my face looked like when that happened. Oh, I didn't jump as much as I thought I did. In the moment, I thought I like properly like, but no, wasn't that bad. Great. Right, we'll play a little bit longer, and then we'll call it for an evening, because I have a lot of conference prep to do tomorrow. Bird evidence, indeed. Oh god, what did I do? That wasn't very smart of me. Right.
Yeah.
Thomas, it's Farrell. Running from the Bureau will do no good. You know we'll find you eventually. Look, I understand. The caseload became too much. You weren't solving cases like you used to.
That's why you would kill your partner.
Strong. You snapped. It happens sometimes.
Look, I did not snap. Someone else killed those policemen. It looks like it might have been the matchmaker.
With your gun. That seems unlikely, doesn't it? We have psychiatric staff that can help you sort things out.
With all due respect, I don't need a shrink.
I'll be sure about that.
Maybe I have gone crazy.
Oh great.
Farrell.
A department store with creepy dolls.
It's Malcolm Van Horn. Has your boss been bothering you?
Yes.
To be expected. They're not going to let this drop. You must continue with your investigation. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes. I mean, no. What do you want from me, Malcolm? What's going on?
Going on? You are being investigated by the FBI for the murder of 2 police officers. That's what's going on. You will be tested, Thomas. Of that you can be sure. I must go.
Hang on, what chapter am I on now? I think this is like chapter 5 or something? Which means I'm actually like I think there's only 10 chapters in the game. Oh. Ah, that's so cool. Look at that. Like the fact that you can just literally rip those bits out. Like it's so neat. Such a kind of rarity in game design, this idea of like physically ripping apart bits of the level to suit as weapons. Like smashy smashy indeed. It's really cool. Yeah, there's just a lot of really cool ideas in this game. I don't think the execution is quite 100%, but like there's enough cool stuff here that it is. Like I know there was a sequel, Condemned 2, which Condemnation Boogaloo. That was a whisper in my ear. I am totally waiting for one of these doll things to move. Breathing. And of course I can't go that way. Big wreath energy. Don't you love how he did like such a perfect job of throwing him down that he landed at just the right angle for me to read that? These criminals, so creative. No, hello. One of my favourite little nostalgic memories for video games is in a level in Time Splitters 2. You can smash the front of a gun store to steal the gun there, but if I remember correctly, the alarm summons more enemies if you do. Ah, that's quite cute. I never So I was never a big PlayStation kid or young adult growing up. So I never really got into, I know particularly my friend Dan has gave me a lot of shit for this over the years, but I never really got into Time Splitters because it just seemed like such a PS2, oh jeez, franchise, and that was just not something I actually didn't realize as well for years that Time Splitters and Free Radical were like the ex-Rare guys who worked on GoldenEye and Perfect Dark. So it wasn't until years later I realized, oh, hang on a minute, that game is literally for people, if you really liked GoldenEye and stuff, you... Someone's here. Like, you go and play Time Splitters, to the point that I finally played Time Splitters only about 5 years ago. And then you play it, and within about 2 minutes, I'm like, oh my god, yes, this is absolutely like GoldenEye coded, you know? So stupid. Saving. I didn't get a PS2 until the Guitar Hero was released. I got a PS2. See, I knew. Well, that didn't work. I knew. So I got a PS2, a refurbished PS2, very late on, and geez, more than one of them? No, he's straight up a mannequin. I managed to rip his arm off. Yeah, I remember I got a PS2 purely, and it was at the time just so I could play, I wanted to play San Andreas and see what it was all about. Oh no, you know, there was one other game, actually there was two other games. I actually played a lot of games eventually on my my refurbished PS2. I was really into The Punisher that came out on it, which was just ridiculous uber violence, but it was quite fun. And then X-Men Legends was a game I became very fond of. I mean, obviously, because I'm a Marvel freak, but like X-Men Legends, Graham and I, some of you might remember Graham from previous streams. Graham and I basically, like, more than once would just sit down, get a crate of beer, would order in pizza, and we would play X-Men Legends for like hours. Like 6-8 hours in one go. Yeah. Look at these super duper cameras.
Image received. Right-handed print, missing the right index finger. This matches what we got from the crime scene. I processed all the prints. And Thomas, the print you got from the tape recorder at the metro station isn't on this hand.
I don't get it. What does that mean?
I'm not sure. I'm just saying that the print from the tape recorder wasn't made by the same hand.
Bum bum bum.
Bullet size and dispersal pattern indicate victim sustained a heavy blow. Height of blood on wall indicates it's possibly a head wound.
I can't do anything about that. Person just randomly running out and running away. Hello, sign it off. Is that my footsteps or someone else's? Oh God. Sorry, I'm getting a message about something. Never mind, it's all good. Just realised that both the words condemned and Dishonored has a similar meaning in this game's context, and both this game and Dishonored share similar narratives for their respective protagonists. I guess so. I keep meaning to do a video perhaps one day on like Dishonored 2 or something. Or just Dishonored 1 and 2, like. I think I've got a bunch of notes somewhere on one of those games. I think it's Dishonored 2, and I've just never got around to doing it. It's one of those things of like, hey, what if we had all the time and resource and money, we would actually go and do all that. But you can't. Perils of running our YouTube channel is you only have so much time. Actually, there was topics I wanted to do this year and I never got around to doing them. They'll be next year for sure. Wrath. Actually, I haven't found any of those goddamn birds. Bum, 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 bum. Just go away. I'm not in the mood. I hear someone. Thought they were behind me there. Yeah, just the one end. I think sometimes I also maybe hear them through walls. In ways that's a tad disorienting. Oh, creepy music kicking in. That's great. Oh, hello. That seems like a bad idea. Find route to ground floor. Bima, I think YouTube chat's been a bit weird today. So the last 5 words of your message, I didn't see the preceding 5 words. Someone else said in the chat earlier that they thought YouTube was being a little bit awkward tonight. So don't sweat it. Right, is there a easier way for me to get down other than going all the way back the way I came? No. Fine. Creepy noises. Dead end. You're a person. Prick. Yeah, definitely a game to play in the dark. This is not a game to play at, like, Saturday afternoon or whatever. I was gonna say, I don't think it's been that scary, but then there was one jump scare that had me literally jump out my chair earlier. So, and... oh, what about here? Every now and then you just listen out for the footsteps. Alright, hang on, what? I have missed a path, clearly. As much as I don't necessarily want games to give me like an objective marker all the time, sometimes I'm like, yo lads, what am I meant to be doing? Find route to ground floor and continue search. Like, sure, but... oh, there we go. Look at that environmental lighting that I completely fucking ignored. Yoink! Uh-oh. That guy has a gun. That guy can't aim for shit, so that's something. Oh, there we go. Bima, you've joined us on Twitch. Good job. It's funny because, like, you know, we talk about the shiny light. It's funny because my partner and I were playing It Takes Two not that long ago, and one of the things I was pointing out was the need to pay attention to the environment, because they were saying, oh, I don't really know where to go. Oh, yay, a twofer. And I'm like, yeah, look for the light. The environmental design of the lit will dictate where you're supposed to travel, because they'll have lit the area in such a way to kind of guide you towards it. And, like, I just didn't see that here at all. Hammer time. I don't have time for investigations. That man has a shotgun. There we go. Managed to steal his weapon. Oh. Okay, so this is where the body fell to. And then drag, 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 drag. Drag up the stairs, along. Find alternate route to other side. 2 rounds. Can't go that way. This is going to be a long way round. I was going to say that's not my footsteps. Oh. Where was it? Ah, there we go. 8 rounds? Oh, Living large. There was another dude here. Where did that... Goddamn birds. Oh wow, that's the first bird. Jeez. These levels must be getting longer and longer. This is like Fear all over again, where like the first couple of levels, it's fine, and then like level 3, it's like this will take you an hour. Oh, he's got a shotgun. Don't want to use all my bullets on him. How good is that shotgun? Oh, a full shotgun. Alright, make a note. LB! Hello. Word warning. YouTube messages have been weird tonight. As many have discovered. I think we've got more people watching on Twitch than YouTube for a change. No, that's not creepy at all. Oh, we're doing one of those, are we? Marco. Hello. Dodgy messages, dodgy creepy doll things. The game is also not giving me like... Oh, hang on, I need to jump through here. There we go. Oh, now we're getting somewhere. That's not weird at all. Damn it, I think we're going to miss out on our shotgun now, but still got 7 rounds. Alrighty. Photographers. Come on. There we go.
Compiling. Cross-referencing.
Oop.
The footprint is an exact match to the print I found in the metro station car.
It may be the matchmaker.
That rogue fingerprint from the tape recorder. Keep following the trail.
This always draws my head in, like whenever I'm on the phone, I can only
I would if I could,
like,
but this part of the
I
department
can
store
only
is
move in a
flooded.
very
Trail
small
ends here.
area, so I'm just sort of like pacing back and forth on the phone.
Dead bodies start decaying immediately.
Also, how am I getting signal in here?
Sulfide and traces of methane. If there's a body, you should be able to sniff it out. The air sample contains usual city pollutants and high concentrations of mold spores and
Movement.
Here we go. Methane. It's relatively weak, but definitely there.
Nope. Alright, so I think we need to go back this way. We are onto something. Oh, we need a fire axe. of these doors. Oh, please don't tell me that's what that guy had. Nope, he had a conduit. But is there a fire axe up here? Goddamn birth. What the heck? I tased you. Four rounds. You're not dead. I just tased him in the head. Well, now I shot him in the head. That fixed that problem. Yeah, the whole gotta love levels made of 100 rooms, all with the same wall texture. This is Fear all over again. Like, Monolith's level designers. I'm like, you know what? Actually, it's not even your level designers. It's just you need to ask your environment artists to give you a few more sets of textures, just to diversify a little bit around here. She be dead. Wrong button. Find door number 1. Oh, we're on the right track. Oh, come on. Is that someone there? Oh, it's time for some evidence. Crime evidence gathering. What is it with me streaming games with crime evidence? Oh, he's dead. I'm like, I want to chop him into pieces.
Image received. Well,
Oh god, why am I getting emails at this time of night?
matchmaker scene. But it's not quite right. Looks like you have a male corpse and a female mannequin. Exactly the opposite of normal. Well, not normal. Thomas, photograph the victim's face.
Up close and personal.
Shape and color of the facial mark is consistent with the painted marks on all the male mannequins in previous matchmaker crime scenes.
Oh,
But this is
my lights went out.
Thomas, get a shot of his right hand, will you?
Ticket purchases are still coming in thick and fast for the AI and Games Conference 2025. Hang on, which hand? Oh, I've lost. There we go.
Yes, he's missing his right index finger, and it doesn't look like it's a recent loss either.
this guy's the matchmaker. Well, he certainly didn't kill himself and set it up this way.
See what else you can find.
Coolio. Oh.
Damn. No usable DNA traces. Killer must have worn gloves. But there is something.
What is it?
Too early to call. Small particles that show up as a potential organophosphate pesticide. I'll report
Okay,
them,
whatever.
see what we get.
Oh. Oh no. Mr. Policeman Officer, did you have a gun that I can steal? Damn it. You had one job. The one time you need a cop with a gun.
Dawson, could you even help? Not much longer. Dawson, you still with?
I'm wondering if turning my light off helps. There he is. Ram. Oh no. The police are outside. Oh, no, one round. This isn't worth the effort. What am I doing? Avoid the police.
I think I've got something, Thomas. The newspaper clippings you found in the room at the metro station? The articles talks about a serial killer. A serial killer that was on your case list. 9
How has he got so many
7 of the 9 were
serial
crossed out
killers?
in each of the clippings by a black felt tip marker. The only names that weren't crossed out were the matchmaker and the
Yes, I
torturer.
did. I think I did just headbutt the guy to death. I think, yes, you're absolutely right there. That is what just
Now
happened.
you can cross off the matchmaker. Wait, are you implying that there's someone stalking serial killers? So what, he goes around killing killers and then he marks off their name in his little personal diary?
Sounds
Maybe
like
it's
yours,
me.
doesn't it?
Maybe that's the
It
trick
does,
of the game.
but it adds up. It almost makes sense. Hold on.
Hold on, I'm standing
Rosa, I have to call you back.
right next to this door where the police are. Where'd he go? Escape from the department store. Yes, there is a whole argument to be made about how much of this am I imagining. This seems to be a recurring theme in this game. Alright, I think that's a good point to stop, because we're actually 5 chapters into a 10-chapter game. So I've actually played half the game, which isn't bad at all, particularly for me on a stream. Like, this is the same guy who's managed to drag out my playthrough of Aliens Dark Descent for an entire year. So
Yeah.
You were going to call me back.
Sorry. So, the fingerprint in the metro station and the boot print are not the matchmakers, but this other guy. So, is he the torturer?
Doubtful.
right, LB, you missed this. Yeah, so I had a firearm hit miss of 113%. So it goes against you if you miss, obviously. But if you hit more than, so like for a shotgun, for example, if you hit 2 people with 1 shotgun round, it counts over 100% hit rate. So yeah, like I had an earlier mission where I had like 111% hit rate or something because I got a 2 for 1 with a shotgun.
If the torturer is still at large, what's his MO?
Man, look at these eyebrows.
He likes to abduct people, torture them for fun, then let them loose and hunt them down. His goal is to drive them to suicide so he doesn't actually deliver the final blow.
What is this city coming to? All right, so I've got to find the torturer and save his ass so the new killer doesn't kill him?
Life of an agent.
Yeah, well, I'm no longer an agent, apparently.
Sorry. Look, I can't get you the Bureau dossier on the torturer now, as you can imagine. But we can find out some public information. And I have something else you need to see.
Okay. Well, it's too dangerous for me to come to the Bureau. Can you meet me at the city library?
You know there's been a fire there. The whole thing's shut down for repairs.
Exactly. There's damage, but there's got to be a terminal or 2 still working. And no one will know. Can you meet me there in 15 minutes?
That seems ambitious.
I'll be there.
All right. We will save. There we go. And then head back to the main menu. So yeah, this has been pretty good so far, actually. I've quite enjoyed it. I wasn't sure what to expect of this game coming in. And it seems to have a pretty good rep. You know, it's aged a little bit, but no, I've quite enjoyed this tonight. This has been good fun. So yeah, we will come back. I will definitely come back and stream some more next week because I'm actually taking some time off at the end of next week to celebrate the fact that I have got all the work that we needed to get done. So yeah, by this time next week, the conference will be done. We'll be chilling out, hopefully, if everything has gone smoothly and successfully. Touch wood, everybody. But yeah. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us tonight. This has been good. It's been nice to get a little bit of a breather and get away from... I've literally been in knee-deep in conference prep today, and I had to break away from that briefly because we actually did an interview for a newsletter issue and a YouTube video that we're going to have in January. But the newsletter will go out in December. The video will go out in January. Sitting, catching up with the GDMC competition, so that was good fun. But yeah, I've got to get back to it first thing tomorrow. I've got a ton of work to do on conference prep, and some of you need to make your travels over to the... Yeah, LP is like, I won't be able to watch next week because I'll be at the... Oh, wait. So yes, I'll see some of you in London next week. That's going to be awesome. We are running a lot of prep and setup on the Sunday, so if people are in the area in the evening, if you are finding somewhere to congregate, we'll maybe try and swing by. Otherwise, I'll probably still be working quite late on Sunday night, making sure we dot the I's and punch the T's and everything else. But yeah, thanks for tuning in tonight. This has been a good laugh. I am going to not do any more work. I'm going to start winding down for bed. Well deserved, Tommy. Well deserved. All right, cool. Chat. Put it over there. I can take these off now because squeeze my brain a little. Also, that Xbox build has held up quite well. I was quite surprised. I wasn't sure how it would play, but you know what? It's been fine. All right, cool. I'm Offski. Thanks for tuning in tonight. It's been a good laugh. We'll come back soon and finish this. And yeah, I'll see some of you all, very soon, in like just a couple of days' time. And if for everyone else, have a good one. We will fill you in. We won't be talking about the conference on the newsletter next week. We actually have another topic that I'm writing up. I need to finish writing it tomorrow. But we'll do a full newsletter issue about the conference in 2 weeks, and then we're going to we'll have a couple of videos on the main channel just summarizing the big event. And then, of course, eventually in 2026, the talks will go live on the channel as well. Actually, on that note, thank you to everyone who subscribed to the AI and Games Conference YouTube channel. We broke over 1,000 subscribers like literally last week, so that's kind of awesome. Right, awesome. I'm going to bed. I've had enough. Thank you all for tuning in. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see some of you very soon. All right, bye. Turn off email and work phone. Who are you? What?